Racing to the 2020 Breeders' Cup, and the big day is upon us. It's time for another betting show. This is where we take a look at some possible tickets, look at ticket construction, and kind of show you some of the races that I'm going to be playing. Now remember, we have different types of people who watch these videos. Some people just want the picks, so hey, I put up some picks for you. But really what this has meant, and all of these preview videos the last few weeks, is to get you ready, kind of get you thinking as you're doing your own handicapping. And if there's a horse that I like that you don't like, then substitute your pick. If there's a horse that you're kind of considering and maybe somebody else kind of has and can give a good reason, that's where you want to include them on your ticket. Now remember, for pick 4 strategies and pick 3 strategies, I am going to probably bet a little bit on all 14 of these races. I can be pretty sure of that. But there's going to be 4 or 5 races that I'm really going to hone in. That's where I'm going to make my money. If I can pick one winner in 4 races, I'll have a successful Breeders' Cup. Also for pick 3s and pick 4s, I'm not looking for the $50 pick 3, $100 pick 4. I'm looking to score. I want a $1,000 minimum pick 4. I want a $500 minimum pick 3. So I am going to be taking horses that have a potential to pay that. So let's get to the 2020 betting show from Keeneland. Breeders' Cup Saturday, and the first of 5 or 6 races that I'm going to be taking a look at the odds, watching the tote board, kind of seeing where some of the horses, how they're warming up. But I think these could be kind of the key money-making races of the day that I'm going to be focusing on. And the Filly and Mare Sprint is the first one. And I expect a hot pace in this race. So I think it's going to come down to which one is ridden more aggressively on the front end, Serengeti Empress or Gamine. And I think Gamine with John Velasquez will probably stay a little bit back. And I think Serengeti Empress is going to be ridden hard to get to the lead. And she's proven that she's a tough nut to crack. So of those 2 horses, if I can get longer odds on Serengeti Empress over Gamine, I'm going to play her straight up in the exactas with Come Dancing, Bell's the One, and Sally's Curlin. I may maybe also play a couple of exactas, Bell's the One over Sally's Curlin, Serengeti Empress, and Come Dancing. But I think the pace, I'm not sold on Gamine being better at 7 furlongs. I think she's a horse that likes to get out and establish her cruising speed. But this is a race where I'm going to try to beat the favorite in Gamine, who I think may be a little overplayed in this spot. The Turf Sprint is one that I think could be a wide open scramble for the wire, and I don't normally do this, but I'm recommending a 4 or 5 horses, maybe possibly 6 horse exacta box, or a key horse, using him first, second, and third, and that's going to be Front Run the Fed. I think Imprimis is a strong contender. I like Wet Your Whistle and Glass Slippers, but again, what I'm looking for in this race is a 10-to-1 shot in my daily doubles and pick 3s, and I think that's how you have to play this race. I'm not a big believer in Leinster. I think, you know, he might have been to the wedding the last time, and I'd rather have some of these horses here at longer odds, and especially some of the Euros. But Front Run the Fed is another horse who I think can run a 1, 2, 3 finish here in the Turf Sprint. The Big Ass Fans Dirt Mile is going to be one of the key races for me, and my whole key to this race is I think Complexity is a false favorite. I'm not sold on that 110 Brisnet speed figure, Beyer speed figure the last time out. I think it was a little bit inflated because of the competition who ran second in Honor Code. Even if it is true, I think it was accomplished on a 1-turn mile, and Complexity has proven in 3 races at Belmont in the 1-turn mile, he has performances that are nowhere near his level of ability at other racetracks. I don't see him getting an easy lead here. I think Nick's Go is going to go with him, or may possibly have the lead at the half-mile pole. And I think War of Will be forwardly placed in this spot. This race could collapse a little bit. You might want to take a look at a Silver Dust. You may want to take a look at an Owendale. But I think if you go into this race, I think you either got to key a horse like Complexity, or take a horse like Nick's Go, Owendale, War of Will, and kind of build around them. Now, Art Collector is going to get a lot of play. I still think he's going to be 6 or 7 to 1. I'm just not sure Art Collector has the raw speed to hang with horses like Nick's Go and Complexity. So again, I'm trying to blow up the tote board a little bit in this race. Maybe not blow it up, but I'm not going to take Complexity. There's 2 or 3 races today that I have to just take the favorite and not use them. And if they win, I lose. And I think a lot of times everybody's trying to cover every horse in every race, and it just does not work that way on Breeders' Cup Day. You have to find horses that you either can make a strong case for, use them on multiple tickets, and have them be your key horses. And if you try to go 5, 6, 7 deep on every ticket, it just does not work on Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday. You have to play aggressively. You have to be bold with a few picks. So in this race, I'm going to be tossing Complexity. The Breeders' Cup Sprint. This one, I'm going with a false favorite on Yapan. Now again, I talked a little about this in my sprint preview. He is now the favorite, not because everybody thought he was the best horse coming into this week. He is now going to be favored because Vekoma scratched. That's different than a horse like Complexity or Improbable, who everybody thought was the best horse, or they might think is the best horse. But Yapan wasn't even supposed to be favored. And to me, over the years, those are the horses that lose more often than some of your favorites. So Yapan, he's got the question marks of a 3-year-old facing older horses. He is going to get some smoke on the front end with Frank's Rocket. Possibly a couple of other horses can go. Now last year, a horse like Chancelot had that 43 speed, 44, low 41 speed. And this year, I think they're going to go 45 or closer to 45 than 44. And if Yapan just is not going to clear off that, he's never even been ridden to be gunned for the lead. And so I think Frank's Rocket, I think this is going to be a bunched field, and I want horses like Whitmore. He's going to be coming at the end. Hog Creek Hustle is going to be mowing him down late. Collusion Illusion could get a perfect trip in this race. So look for horses. Even Firenze Fire might be able to come off the pace, although at 4 or 5 to 1, I like him, but anything less than that, I don't. So again, can Yapan win? Yeah, he's got some fast speed figures, but again, if you either got to go all in on a horse like this or toss them. There's no such thing as using them defensively. That is a false dichotomy in playing tickets and larger tickets. You have to either take horses or not take horses. And again, I'll use some of these horses on more than one ticket. Some I'll use only on 1 or 2 tickets. But I like Whitmore, Hog Creek Hustle, Collusion Illusion, even Firenze Fire a little bit. I think this race has a chance to blow up a little bit. Another race I'm looking at is the Turf, and I'm going to bet the Euros. So I think Magical will be overbet. So I think what I see is about 3 or 4 to 1s. Lord North has more of a grinding style. If the fractions are slow and it becomes a sprint to the wire, then I'd rather have Tarnawa, Mogul, even United or Arklow for the Americans. I just think the pace of this race and the race flow does not fit to a horse like Lord North in this spot. This will be a key part of my doubles. I'm going to probably use 3 or 4 horses in that last double going into the Classic, and then if I'm alive and my pick 3 or pick 4, I really won't have to bet that Classic straight up. The Classic, the Breeders' Cup Classic, is a race that I will be playing. Maximum Security is not going to be on any of my tickets. That's it. I'm tossing him. If he wins, I lose. That's how this works. That's how you got to make stances in this game. You can't play all these horses equally. You can't do caveman tickets. So Tom's Day Tot is my top pick. I'm going to use him first and second in exactas. I will use him third underneath a couple of long shots with By My Standard and Tacitus. Now Tacitus, the reason why he can get a trip here, he is going to be sitting 6th or 7th in this spot. And you look at his best 2 races, the Wood Memorial, they set fast fractions. He came from 7 or 8 lengths back. Also in the Belmont, he got left behind. He was wide. He came running late. The last 2 races, he's been near the lead. That's not his race. He finally gets a full field, and he finally gets some horses to run at. By my standards, this horse is just training too well for me to toss in a spot like this. By my standards is definitely a horse I'm going to use. I think he can run forwardly place. I don't necessarily want him on the lead. And Tom's Day Tot, I do have a few question marks on his distance capability, but he should set a perfect trip with Authentic and Maximum Security setting the pace, possibly even By My Standards up there. Joel Rosario is 5-1 with Tom's Day Ta. You get a little extra bonus price because he lost the Whitney, but he is definitely a solid older horse. He's got one of the faster speed figures on the year in the Stephen Foster, and then also, you know, 'tis the law. You can use him. He can win.
Again, the way I approach the Classic, I approach it differently than other races. I want to be alive with a couple of horses. So my key horse is going to be Tom's d'Etat. And if he wins, I want to be able to cash with any of those other logical horses in my pick fours. And Tiz the Law I may use if he goes up higher odds than a horse like Maximum Security, but I think Tiz the Law is going to get bet. Here is your pick four to score for Breeders' Cup Saturday. Again, I use the ABC method. ABC has nothing to do with their odds. It's my chances of winning the race. So Swiss Skydiver is my top selection in the distaff. I'm going to be using Tom's d'Etat in the Classic. That's the hammer time. I'm going to use Tacitus on a few tickets. I think Ollie's Candy, Point of Honor, and Dunbar Road are all possibles for the distaff. And then for the turf, I'm going to be using liberally horses like Mogul and other horses in this race, Lord North, Arklow a little bit. I won't be using Channel Maker. And then I like Siskin as my top pick in the mile. I'm going to use him on more tickets. I'll use Kamiko and Digital Age on a couple of other tickets. I'll use One Master with a horse like Tom's d'Etat to close it off, and then maybe Swiss Skydiver. So again, you never put more than 3 favorites on any pick 4 ticket if you want to actually cash a bigger ticket. So construct your tickets, take your time. A lot of people spend a lot of time handicapping and less time on ticket construction. When you play a pick 4, you want to play 6, 7, 8 tickets and use your tickets, weigh those tickets equally. So hopefully you can watch some of the preview videos. If you just want picks, take some of these horses and use them. And we'll be recapping the Breeders' Cup 2020 throughout next week. Good luck, everybody, on the Breeders' Cup Pick 4 to score.